And he goes, don't worry. He goes, the digital one still hasn't shown the results. That will be the one that's probably gonna be the most accurate. I found out that I was pregnant and I was already 4 weeks pregnant. Were you trying or was this a surprise? I always keep it real with you here on this channel. I'm always honest with you. And if I'm really honest, hello friend, happy Saturday. I hope you are well. Can you believe that I'm pregnant? We haven't talked since the big announcement, so I just need to know how everyone's feeling. Drop a comment down below. You guys, we have so much to catch up on, but first, before we get into this video, answering all your questions about the pregnancy and the baby and everything coming up, on behalf of both of us, Chandler's at work right now, I cannot even put into words how grateful we are. We are sincerely so overwhelmed by your love and support and just how excited you have been over the last week. Thank you for being excited with us. Thank you for all of your sweet messages and comments and DMs. It really means the world. We could not do this without you. It literally takes a village. And so we're just so grateful for your support over our journey over the last year. And now moving into this new and exciting season of life, having a baby, we are just so thrilled to take you along the journey with us as we learn and grow and go through all the things. So with that being said, you all have a lot of questions and that's what we're gonna do in today's video. I'm gonna go through the list of most commonly asked questions that you guys had from last week. I'm gonna do my best to answer all of these. And it's gonna be lots of fun. So grab a cup of coffee, snuggle up with a blanket, and we'll dive right in. Okay, starting off with the question that the most of you submitted. You all wanna know how far along I am. I'm 19 weeks. By the time this video is posted, I will be closer to 20 weeks than I am 19, which is so wild. That's halfway through the pregnancy, you guys. I know Chandler and I did wait a good bit before we shared this news publicly, but honestly, the last few months have been so sweet just having this to ourselves and being able to tell our family and friends in person and just really slow down and process the news of becoming parents for the first time before we had to share that with the rest of the world. So I'm about halfway through my pregnancy, which still blows my mind. So I'm due October 28th, which I'm so excited to have a little fall baby. The last few appointments I've been to, I've been measuring a little bit early. The last time I went, they said it might be October 24th, but y'all get this. One of my girlfriends, before I even told her that I was pregnant, had a dream that I was pregnant and that my due date was October 22nd, which is so scary specific to my projected due date. So who knows? It could be October 22nd, it could be the 24th, it could be the 28th, sometime around mid to late October, we'll see. Were you trying or was this a surprise? A lot of you asked this, and you guys, I always keep it real with you here on this channel. I'm always honest with you because we don't need the fluff. And if I'm really honest, we were surprised. We were not planning on having a baby. When we got married, we had talked about maybe waiting a year or so before even having that conversation. And so when I found out that I was pregnant, we were very shocked. It's the craziest thing. Like the day I found out, I woke up like I do any other normal day. Did my morning routine, went to the gym. Like it was such a normal day, not even thinking some big life change is about to happen to me. And then all of a sudden you find out you're pregnant and your whole world changes, which if you're not expecting that, that's super overwhelming. So I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think I was pregnant when I took the test. I just was for sure there was no way that I could be pregnant. We hadn't even really talked about it as something we were trying for in this season. So when all 3 tests showed up positive, I honestly didn't even know what to think and didn't know how to process that news because everything changed in that moment. Now I say all that and I want to say 2 things. One, I trust God with my whole heart and I believe that his timing is perfect and that this was not a surprise to him. And so that gives me comfort and peace in knowing that this was meant to be. This was part of his plan. God does not make mistakes. There are no accidents. And while maybe in that moment, Chandler and I didn't necessarily feel ready to have a baby, God knew that we were and wanted this for us because it was so out of our hands. And also, after I processed everything, I started thinking about it. And for me personally, had we waited a year and tried to plan it out and decide when we were gonna have kids and when we were gonna start trying, I almost think that would have been harder on me personally to try to control that timeline and plan it. If 1 month, you know, let's say we tried and then I didn't get pregnant, I think for me personally, that would have been discouraging if that happened over and over again. And I'm not saying that would, I know everybody's story is different, but I almost, looking back now, am so thankful that it was out of my hands and it was totally such a God thing and really up to him and his timeline that I didn't get to make that call. I found out that I was pregnant and I was already 4 weeks pregnant. I also know, and Chandler and I talked about this a lot, what a blessing it is to even be able to conceive and to have a child, and that is not lost on me. Like, we are so grateful that even though we weren't expecting this, that we are pregnant and that we have the chance to have a baby. And although in that moment I remember thinking, God, I don't feel ready for this. I can't believe you think I'm ready for this. I feel feel extremely honored and humbled that he would entrust us to steward this human life. We are so thrilled to be parents. I have dreamed of being a mom my whole life. I cannot wait to have kids. I might not have expected to enter into this season of life so quickly, of motherhood, right after getting married, but again, God equips us for the season that we're called to, and there's a grace over that, and I could not be more excited to be a mom. So I want to walk you through that day because, like I said, we were not expecting it at all. Like, it was so out of the blue. I didn't even like set up my camera to record my reaction and like have that social media moment that I feel like everybody posts online where the girl's in the bathroom and she finds out and gets all excited and then goes and surprises her husband in a cute way. Yeah, no, that didn't happen with us. And I'm gonna be honest, in the beginning, I was really mad. I was really sad that I didn't get that moment because I have looked forward to this season of life for so long. So now that I'm in it, I'm like, man, I'm so sad that I missed it. But you guys, now that it's all said and done, it really does not matter. So I just want to encourage any other pregnant mamas out there or first-time moms, if you have a similar story or you're feeling maybe a little bit sad about how you found out, I just want to say that I'm with you, and I'm sorry that you didn't get that moment, but it does not define your pregnancy. It does not define the life of your child. You're going to have a beautiful baby, and I'm believing that your pregnancy is going to be wonderful. So actually how I found out is I was a couple days late to my cycle, which honestly didn't surprise me because I usually am. I've always had a pretty irregular cycle my whole life, and I didn't really think much of it, but I track everything through an app called Natural Cycles, which is a natural method of birth control. I also use the Oura Ring to take my temperature every morning, which links to the Natural Cycles app. And so I opened the Natural Cycles app just to check to see where I was on the calendar, and this notification popped up that said, you're late and your temperature's been high for the last 10 days. You should probably take a test. And I thought, that's weird. I've been late before, but I've never had this message pop up that has encouraged me to take a test. And I'm thinking, surely I'm not pregnant. Like, there's no way I'm pregnant. I can't be pregnant. And Chandler happened to be in the living room with me as that message popped up, and so he saw it. There was no hiding this from him. And I said, you don't think I'm pregnant, do you? Like, he had actually made a joke about me being pregnant earlier that morning, and we both just kind of laughed it off because we just were sure I wasn't pregnant. It's so funny now looking back, all the things that like lined up to us finding out that we were pregnant that was kind of like pointing toward the pregnancy. Even the night before, we were watching an episode of Gilmore Girls, and it was the episode where Suki finds out that she's pregnant, and we like laughed about that too. So anyways, I start to freak out, and he goes, you're not pregnant. Don't worry, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'll pick up a test at Walgreens on the way home just for your peace of mind. But like, don't stress about it. It's just probably a fluke. I'm like, okay. And I had to go record a podcast. So he goes to the gym. I go upstairs to record this podcast. I'm freaking out the whole time during the interview. And he comes home. I take the test, and it was one of the cheaper ones with the 2 lines, and 1 line popped up right away. And I thought, okay, good. I'm not pregnant. Nothing to worry about here. And then a couple minutes later, ever so slightly, this second pink line started to show up. But it was super faint. So both of us were like, I don't really know if that's for real. Like, we're not super sure, but still, I'm hyperventilating. Like, I'm freaking out. So I FaceTimed my best friend because she's a nurse, and I said, Tegan, what does this mean? Am I pregnant? Am I not? What do I do? I've never taken a pregnancy test before in my whole life. I'm so not even in that mindset. And she goes, you should probably take another test. And so Chandler had to go to a dentist appointment. I said, no, get in the car. We're going back to Walgreens right now. We need to get 2 more tests. And so we're in the car. I'm like panicking. We get 2 clear blue tests, the digital one and the one with the cross. And I'm chugging water on the way home so that I have to pee when we get back. And literally, we run into the bathroom. Chandler's with me this whole time, you guys. Again, there's no surprise. And I'm still thinking I'm not actually pregnant. So I'm not even like, my mind is not thinking like, oh, let's set up a camera. Let's make it cute. Let's be surprised. Like, I'm freaking out. So he's feeding me the test. I'm peeing on one, peed on the next one. And then we had to wait like a couple minutes. So we go out to the kitchen, and I'm thinking, okay, take a breath. You know, if I am pregnant, I don't want to miss this moment completely. And so I did set my phone up, and I hit record while we looked at the results. And the first one popped up with the X really fast. And I kind of started to cry. And he goes, don't worry. He goes, the digital one still hasn't shown the results, and that will be the one that's probably going to be the most accurate. And right as he said that, it flashed up and said pregnant. And so we had these 3 tests that said pregnant. And as you can tell, it was a very emotional moment because we just weren't expecting it. We were so caught off guard, and it's such a huge life change that we're so excited for. But in that moment, this rush of of just, I don't know, it was a mixture of fear and joy and overwhelmed and confusion and like, wait, what? We didn't know what to do. The little clip that you saw in the video I posted last week of us hugging, like we immediately just hugged each other and just sobbed for about a good 2 minutes. That video is like 2 minutes of us just hugging because our whole world changed in that moment in such a beautiful way. Yeah, that's the story of how we found out. Chandler was with me. There was no surprising him, and for a good bit I was really sad that I didn't get that moment where I found out by myself and got to surprise him in a cute way and filmed it. I mean, I put so much pressure on myself with my job here on YouTube and social media to like have these picture perfect moments, but if this can serve as an encouragement to you, whether you're a content creator or not, that sometimes these life moments, they're not the picture perfect thing you see on social media, but that's what makes them real, that's what makes them life, and I'm grateful for the way that it happened and that Chandler got to be with me to find out. I just want to be as honest and real as possible on here. So, and then he had to go to his dentist appointment, like literally had to go get a cavity filled, and the poor guy, he went to his dentist appointment, is just crying in the chair. So technically our dentists were the first ones to find out that we were pregnant, and then my friend came over and talked to me for like an hour as I like processed through every single emotion I was feeling in that moment. We didn't tell anybody. Like we waited until our confirmation appointment, until I think our first appointment was at 8 weeks. So I found out at 4 weeks. At 8 weeks, I think it was 8 weeks, we went to the OB and I had my first ultrasound and appointment, and we just wanted to make sure that everything was okay, that there was a heartbeat before we started sharing the news, and we wanted our families to be the first to know. So my family came into town for Easter and we told them then, and then we saw Chandler's family the following weekend, and so we told them then and started telling our friends in our community. We started making phone calls and telling people in person, and it was honestly the most fun. Like it was the sweetest season, and I'm gonna cherish those memories forever. We recorded as many of them as we could, and I'm gonna put that video together and probably post that next week or the following because it's so sweet, and it was like the best thing ever to tell everybody that. But a lot of you wanted to know if we were going to find out the gender, and yes, I don't think I could do it going all the way to delivery without knowing whether it's a boy or a girl. Maybe for a future pregnancy, but for my first one, like I'm such a planner. I want to get the nursery ready. I want to know, I want to be able to pick names, and so we're gonna find out the gender. We actually have the results. They're in an envelope in my office, just sitting and waiting. So we haven't looked yet because we're doing a gender reveal party at the end of the month. That was the earliest both of our families could come into town, and so we have to wait, which is killing me. Both of us, like so many times, even last night, we looked at each other and we're like, should we just open it and like find out the two of us and then act surprised at the party? But we're gonna do the gender reveal party at the end of June. It's gonna be amazing, and I cannot wait to find out if it's a boy or a girl. So comment down below. Do you think it's team boy? Are you team girl? I don't really feel like I'm leaning one way or the other. I think in the beginning when we started telling our family and friends, everybody was saying that they just had a feeling it was a boy. And I've honestly kind of been leaning more towards boy, but it's tricky because a lot of the symptoms I've been having, I've been having them for boy and girl. Like I've had equally as many symptoms for girl that I have boy, but I've had more recently that are the girl ones. And you know, all these are old wives' tales. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a 50-50 chance. We even did that test where you take a bit of your hair and wrap it around your husband's ring and like hold it over your belly, and whichever way it turns is supposed to tell you like if it's a boy or a girl. And that, it said it was a boy. But I've had so many symptoms for a girl. I don't really know. I'm trying to like just surrender that and let it go because it can get into my head. And honestly, I don't even care if it's a boy or a girl. Like I would love to have a boy, but I would be equally as excited if we had a girl. We're just excited. Do you all have any names picked out? No. We literally haven't even talked about it. We'll go through a couple lists every now and then, but we haven't really seriously sat down and thought about it because it's hard before you know if it's a boy or a girl. There's just so many options. And so I think we're gonna wait until after the gender reveal to like really sit down and process through some names, because then we'll be able to at least eliminate half of what we know we won't have to use. The first trimester honestly went by so quickly because I found out at 4 weeks. And then it felt like forever between that and our first appointment. But once we had our first appointment and we started telling people, I feel like the first trimester just flew by. And again, this is my first pregnancy, so I kind of only know what I know, but I've been studying and reading books and watching other videos and other people's experiences, and I feel like I've had a really smooth pregnancy, which praise God, I'm so thankful, because I've heard that people get a lot of morning sickness and have weird pregnancy cravings and just like kind of off the wall symptoms, and I don't really feel like I had any of those. I never got sick. I've never felt nauseous. There's never been like a food or something that I've had an aversion to, like that's made me feel like I'm gonna throw up or that I don't want to eat. Honestly, if anything, All food sounds good at all times. The two main symptoms I feel like I've had in the first and second trimester so far, extreme exhaustion. Like I cannot tell you how tired I was in the first trimester. I felt like I would get 8 to 9 hours of sleep and still not feel rested, and then nap throughout the day. Like every single thing would make me so tired that I felt like I needed to take a nap. So I was really tired and then really, really hungry. I feel like I've been snacking a lot more. Everything always sounds good. Like I eat all of my dinner. I'm just always hungry, and like every single thing I look at is like, yes, I want that. Yes, I want that. So it's been a mixture of savory foods and sweet foods, but I have a sweet tooth in general. So like, I feel like I gravitate more towards sweet snacks anyway. And then on the craving side of things, I haven't had really anything specific besides citrus. Like cold fruits always sound good. Cold oranges, grapes. Now that it's summertime, like I've been eating so much watermelon and berries. Like fruit always sounds so good. And then strawberry ice cream. That's kind of weird. I normally have like either vanilla or cookie dough, cookies and cream, like the chocolatey side of ice cream. And recently, like fresh strawberry ice cream has sounded really good. But other than that, I haven't had anything weird like pickles and peanut butter, or I don't know, some of these weird things you hear online. I haven't had any of that. Oh, and then I'd say probably the other thing I've experienced as like a symptom is emotions, which is so just normal during pregnancy. A wave of hormones will just smack me in the face at the most inconvenient time, and I will be so emotional. I like to think of myself as the type of person that is like really self-aware and pretty good at regulating my emotions, but like in pregnancy, y'all, sometimes you just cannot control. You can't control it. And I find myself just crying over the random things. And then I get mad at myself because I'm like, why am I crying? I shouldn't be crying about this. So I just get frustrated at myself at times because I can't control my emotions as much as I could before. I know that's probably been hard on Chandler, bless his heart, but we're learning a lot. It's also interesting going through all these things as a newlywed too, because you're still like learning how to be a wife and learning how to be a husband and figuring out how to communicate. So Chandler and I are definitely growing and learning a lot in this season. How have you been feeling? Y'all are so sweet. I got this one a lot too. Honestly, really great. Even better now that I like have announced to the world and I'm able to talk about it with you. I think that was the hardest part, not being able to share, because I was going through all of these things, like exciting, also scary, sometimes just like not fun, but I couldn't say anything, so I didn't really know how to show up online authentically at times. So I feel like I've been a little distant, which was not as fun, but now that it's out, I'm just excited to be able to bring you guys into those conversations and like what I'm learning and what I'm going through, because it's a lot, but it's also so fun. I believe it's better when you do it with people and in community. So I am excited now that we kind of get to go through this journey together. Overall, I've been feeling good. Like physically, I haven't been sick at all, aside from just having like, again, the ups and downs of emotions and like maybe being less motivated to do certain things like exercise and stuff that like I normally comes really easily to me, especially during the summer. That's been interesting to try to find like new rhythms and routines now that my body's changing, like my belly's growing. Can you see my bump? Yeah, this is really baggy, you probably can't see it. Also, can we talk about the bump for a second? I'm like almost halfway through now, and up until I think this last weekend, I feel like you couldn't even tell that I was pregnant, and now almost overnight, I have a belly. It's not very big, but I definitely have a bump. I went from like one day not having one to all of a sudden I have a bump. So I don't know if my baby just like stretched his legs or something. That's kind of fun and exciting, but also weird to like know your body and know how you normally look in the mirror, and then all of a sudden things start growing and changing and shifting. And it's like, I know it's not because I'm gaining weight or getting fat or anything like that. It's like literally there's a human inside of me, which is the craziest thing to think about. And they're growing, and I'm still eating healthily, and I'm going to the gym, and I'm trying to take care of myself, drinking water, all the things, but like my body's getting bigger. It's so weird. I don't know. We can talk about that later. It's just such a crazy thing and such a miracle. Like this whole experience has made me so excited and just so in awe of God and his creativity and his imagination, and the fact that he created the human body to be able to do what it does, and equipping women to be able to carry human life and feed it and nurture it and grow it. Like it's the craziest thing. It really is. Do you want to travel a lot while pregnant? Great question. Honestly, yeah, as much as I can. I mean, you can't travel, I think, past 36 weeks. And so I've got a good bit of the summer left that I can travel, and Chandler and I are still trying to decide. We went to Hawaii, which was kind of our idea of the baby moon. It was such a fun trip for us to get away. We honestly didn't know what our summer was gonna look like and if we were gonna have time to schedule a trip for the two of us. But I told him, I was like, if we could pull off something in August, I don't know if I'd be okay to go overseas, but I would love I would love to do that. And we've also talked about wanting to travel with our baby. That's something I've dreamed of for so long. It makes me nervous to think that I might not be able to travel as much anymore, but I'm also encouraged to see so many of my friends who are young moms who continue to travel and live their life and do things with their baby. So that's something I'm nervous about, but also really excited for because I know that it's possible. And again, God gives you a grace for that season and my capacity will grow. Everything in moderation, obviously, but travel has always been such a huge part of my life and we're just excited to travel with our baby and let them see the world. And yeah, oh, I'm so excited about that. Oh, which kind of feeds into this next question. What's something that your parents did that you're excited to do with your kiddos? Travel. I think that's why I'm excited to do it. My parents traveled a lot with my sister and I growing up, and that was such a huge part of my childhood. I mean, I was at Disney World as a 1-month-old. That might be a little crazy. I don't know if Chandler and I are gonna do that, but my parents traveled with Victoria and I a lot. I feel like that played such an integral role in shaping who I am today, and so I'm really excited to do that. Okay, last question, because this is getting long. How have your day-to-day activities changed? Not a lot, but a little bit. I would say because I feel like my capacity is a lot smaller in this season, I'm not able to get as much done, so I guess less productive, but like productive is so relative. I work from home and I am really blessed to be able to have the flexibility to create my own schedule, and so I'm still working and I'm still able to do things. I think I just having to shift when I do them because I've been more tired and I don't have the capacity to like go to as many events or maybe do as much as I have in the past. Right now, I'm really focusing on taking care of myself because I want to take care of the baby. So prioritizing sleep, prioritizing eating healthy meals, cooking at home, and prioritizing movement. Exercise has been kind of hit or miss the first couple trimesters. Like I had no energy the first trimester, so really I felt like all I could do was walk. The last thing I wanted to do was go to the gym. But now in my second trimester, I feel like I'm having a lot more energy, so I'm trying to take advantage of that and continue exercising and moving my body and doing workouts that feel fun. I think for me, being more mindful about what I eat, like I can only have 1 cup of coffee a day, and that's not really different from what I did before, but even just being mindful about the nutrients I'm putting into my body and how I'm nourishing the baby, because it's literally going straight to them, has been really fascinating and fun, and I cannot wait. I'm excited to start sharing more recipes on here and my other social platforms of just like fun recipes I've been loving and things that you can eat during your pregnancy that are gonna be good for you and baby. So stay tuned for those. But what are we at? Oh my gosh, this video is getting so long. Y'all, if you watched to the end of this, thank you so much. Again, Chandler and I are so excited and we're so grateful for you and being part of this community. We have so many exciting things and changes coming up in the next couple of months, and so your support and continued love just means so much to us. If this video made you smile and you're excited about all the pregnancy content coming up, please give this video a big thumbs up before you go. And it would mean a lot if you're not already subscribed. Please hit that subscribe button because we're on the road to 1 million, baby. Y'all, we're almost at 700,000, which is so crazy to me. Comment down below things you're excited to see. I hope you're having a great summer. Thank you so much again for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.